Now here I have two of the Babayev Munneharp, and these are forged instruments held into place in the Munneharp fashion. We have a peen block, and one thing or not a peen block, but a block that holds the reed. One thing I've noticed about these is they're not tapered. They look like they're almost square. On both of the models that I got, and I originally had 5 of them, we have slightly recurved trigger. Some of them have a little dollop of solder, some do not. And we see a really wicked recurved trigger, but the weight's still balanced over the knee bend. I like that. And they do play well inward, and they play well outward. Although I don't play Munneharp outward. Gaps are laser tight amongst, camera can't even really pick it up, amongst the tightest gaps I've ever seen in a harp. This one's in D, this one's in A3, D2, and there's a little bit of evidence of the forging left on it, but on the decks, they're polished very, very smooth, and the decks they feel very, very nice on the teeth and the lips because of how smooth they are. I've noticed with the Munneharp, especially the little teeny one, you can suffer a little bit of hand fatigue from holding them. Very, very clear bell rings. And in all the models I've sampled 5 of them so far, and very clear overtones. Gaps are absolutely even. You can't even see it in the camera, but the gaps are tight and they're even. And these reeds, they feel very flexible. They feel the perfect balance of flexibility and stiffness. In the D, a very, very clear bell ring. A isn't quite as loud, but very clear bell ring as well. Let's go ahead and let's put them through the paces and see if we can hit those clear bell rings in the melodic open-close style, which I'm not very good at this style yet, but Munneharp have a tradition of playing melodically in the open-close. Absolutely excellent open-close. Very, very clear bell rings all the way up. No fuzz. There are harps out there that are louder than this, but I have seldom, if ever, come across a harp that gives this clear of overtones across the spectrum. Let's go ahead and let's give both of these a little play. And I get good rhythmic play out of the D too, even though it's a melodic style instrument. I get lost in this D more often than any harp I've ever played. The purity of the overtones, and it just glides through, and it doesn't have, a lot of loud harps have that bit of fuzz, that little bit of distortion. I sense none of that in this, and I do love this instrument very well because the overtones are just so amazingly clear. The A, and these are some of the best harps I've ever played. I don't, when I say that, I don't go into it lightly. excellent. And it doesn't have that fuzz and that distortion that a lot of loud harps have. So you can even hit your percussives nice and they just shine through. If I had to give these harps a score, I'd say for the look of them, I'd give them, a 97 out of 100. Holding the smaller ones a little bit awkward just because it's that smaller style of harp. The feel of them, the consistency of the trigger, the overtones, all of that. I think overall I would give these harps a 98 out of 100. I don't think I've ever given a harp that good of a score, but I've never encountered harps as of yet that play as clear and just glide through the spectrum of the overtones. And I think I've given out 95s and 96s to harps before, but yeah, I don't know if I'll ever give out 100 out of 100, but yeah, when I say 98 out of 100, I don't go into that lightly. And I'm doing that in harps in this price range. These are expensive harps, but I give it an excellent A- to A+, best I've ever played. Babayev, if you're out there, I hope someday that I can make harps that play as well as this. I've got years and years of learning to try to produce a harp like this. These harps, they're just the clarity and the spectrum and the consistency of them. These are a master tool, my favorite, hands down. And I've got a lot of different makers that I'm going to be buying in the future. So I haven't been exposed to. There's hundreds and hundreds of makers all over the world, so I haven't been exposed to a ton of different makers. But as of right now, these are my favorite I've ever played, and I will aspire someday to be able to produce a tool that's this good. So Dima, who's the maker of these, if you're out there, thank you so much for these tools. These are A+, best I've ever played, my favorite, and blah, blah, blah. I'm just gushing because these harps are excellent. And the D is definitely my favorite. I like the A as well. But yeah, A+, best I've ever played to date. Thumbs up, Dima. Someday I want to be as good as a maker as you, but and that may never occur. I may never get to that sort of level. But there's louder harps out there, but I've never played a harp that plays as well or with as good of overtones. So anyways, that's going to be it for the review of the Babayev Munneharp. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe for more harpery. Harp out.